My thoughts on the new driver lineup is it's a new era for the team, and I think it's an exciting and dynamic lineup. Both very committed, they're both highly motivated, intelligent guys. And I think they're going to push each other very, very toughly throughout the year. The relationship with Renault is an awful lot closer now. I think the gap can be closed this year to Mercedes. Whether we can get on par with them is something else. But they've set the benchmark.
Hello everyone and welcome to F1 2016 Career Mode. Yes, we're with Red Bull Racing if you didn't already know, and we are in. We are just choosing our helmet, our driver number, for basically creating our character for the new season. We are going to be Red Bull, if you haven't guessed already. Our teammate, I was dicing up between it. It is going to be my favourite driver, Daniel Ricciardo. In terms of my driver number, 97, wasn't my first choice actually, 26. Is my number, but Danny Kvyat has taken that, and here is our new contract with Red Bull Racing as the second driver alongside Daniel Ricciardo. So something to look forward to. You can see Christian Horner in the background as well. And we're here now for practice one here in Australia. Practice being a really big feature of this F1 2016 game. So we're going to get right into it, I suppose. Another thing, I'm really excited for this career mode. I really am. I've been putting some F1 game content on my channel for the last year or so since 2015 come out, and that does not look like Danny Kvyat at all. Things just aren't going right for Daniel Kvyat at the moment. You have to feel for the guy. Anyway, Max Verstappen has been demoted to third driver in this team, so maybe Kvyat will be slightly happier to see that. But here we go. Here we are in practice. Our first ever run in practice. I have sped up the track acclimatization test. This is actually my the third. It's not the first lap actually, because you get 3 goes at it. This was the best one I did. It was the third run, because on the first and the second runs I kept missing one of the gates in the middle sector. Through the high-speed chicane. But as you can see, we're fully purple until we hit that green one there, but we were fully purple throughout the first half of this lap. That's the one we kept missing anyway, but we got it this time. We lose the back end through there. As we're now coming into the final sector of this this track acclimatization test, and this was a little bit harder than I expected it to be. Well, I'd say, was it harder? Bits of it were easier, some bits of it were harder. It's very hard if you come out into traffic. This test is a real pain if you come out in traffic. Tyre wear test, this was a nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare. I did the first lap in the green, but apart from that, I either missed the delta time or the tyre wear was just horrific. And it was such a hard test to do. And I think we definitely failed it, but we got 20 resource points from it. Now onto our qualifying simulation. Again, you get 3 goes at it, but on these super soft tyres, they only had 1 good lap in them, and I could not improve on my time. I got held up on my second lap, and then I couldn't improve on my third one. But after free practice, we've got over 800 resource points to spend on upgrades on our car. As here we're going to meet our head of vehicle development, I think it is.
My name's Chris, and I'll be working with you as your Chief of Vehicle Development. It'll be my job to get your feedback as a driver and to direct our upgrade design in the areas that you feel are most lacking. At each Grand Prix, we can run a series of practice programs and log the performance of the car as you drive it at its limit. This gives us data that we can utilize to develop various performance improvements. In order for me to know which upgrades to prioritize, I'll need you to select a development area that you'd like us to focus on. And you can do that in the R&D section of your laptop. Anyway, that's all for now, but I'll keep you up to date, okay? I'll see you soon.
Right, so we've achieved that objective at the moment, and here we go. Here's where we can spend our resource points, and to be brutally honest, I think there's only one real area where at the moment we're going to spend our resource points, and that's on the engine. We're in the Red Bull. It has got a power, it's not, the engine is not as competitive as the Mercedes or the Ferrari, so we are going to spend a good chunk of our resource points on the engine. So that upgrade should be coming to the Bahrain Grand Prix, which is good given that Bahrain is a power track and it gets us quite a little bit closer to catching up to Ferrari. Now we move on into qualifying one, in fact, and honestly after practice I was really worried about the pace going into qualifying. I thought we'd be lucky if we didn't get knocked out. I thought we'd be lucky if we got into Q3. And honestly, I made a mistake with my tyre allocation. I didn't take enough super soft tyres, and it meant I only had one run in every session. And as you can see, we were miles off the pace in Q1, and we literally only just scraped through the first session of qualifying. Kevin Magnussen, it was only a tenth or a couple of tenths away from jumping us. So going into Q2, had basically expected us to get knocked out, and that would be that. As you can see, coming to the end of our flying lap now. It was actually a good lap. Actually, it was definitely the best lap I'd done so far. And in a way, I was kind of hoping we wouldn't get into Q3 because we get to start on the soft compound tyres then and avoid the super softs. But my teammate, in fact, Daniel Ricciardo, got through on the soft compound tyres. But we did actually get through into Q3. We somehow found our host of pace, and we managed to get through into Q3. But I only had one set of brand new super soft tyres left. So we'd done one run in every session. We had one run in Q3. And this is it. We went out at the end of the session, put on, I think it was 3 laps of fuel, and absolutely went for it. But as you'll see in a second, on the run down to turn 3, we actually make a mistake. We brake a little bit too late, trying to maximise the amount of time we can. We run wide on the exit of turn 3 and drop a heap of time. I think it was easily somewhere, it's got to be around 3 or 4 tenths, maybe even half a second that we lost there in turn 3. So I genuinely expected us to finish plumb last in this session. But we do actually have time to do another lap, so that's what we're going to do. The fuel is marginal. We have got it in rich mix, obviously, because it's cute. It's qualifying, and it's all about setting the fastest time. So you need to have it in rich revs. And this lap was my best lap of the weekend by far. We were nearly a second up as we actually brake well into Q3. As you can see on the Delta, we're about 8 tenths up on our previous lap. I'm just going to throw us right in the mix, and we've run out of fuel. We've run out of fuel right at the end, right at the last corner. And we're out of fuel, which is an absolute shame. But yes, it's now time for the race. And we're gonna join up with Anthony Davidson and David Croft.
We go racing today then in the state of Victoria, where the drivers have 16 corners and 3.3 miles to navigate at an average lap speed of around 120 miles an hour. The close proximity of the barriers makes accidents inevitable, and recent history shows us that a safety car is not at all out of the question. I'm joined today in the commentary box, as I will be throughout this season, by a great racing driver, former F1 competitor, former world champion, and dare I say it, all-round top bloke as well. It's the one and only Anthony Davidson. And tell me, here we are, first Grand Prix of the season. then it's gone and rained on us. I imagine that that's not especially helpful for the teams, who are still trying to figure out, of course, what kind of performance they're all capable of.
First of all, Crofty, and thanks for the glowing introduction, I just want to say it's a real privilege to be here. I can't wait to see what this competitive field has in store for us this season. Now, in regards to the weather, you're absolutely right. You know, we've just come here off the back of testing. It's the first opportunity to really gauge where the reliability is, where the performance is, how you stack up against your competitors in the Grand Prix, and now it all has to be kind of put on hold for a bit. So now the question becomes, who can be adaptable? Who has the wet weather pace, and who can make best use of these difficult circumstances to come out on top in these conditions?
Okay, we're looking for a top 7 finish today.
Well then, after an exciting qualifying session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. Nico Rosberg is on pole position today after coming out on top of a difficult qualifying. And Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Raikkonen, Daniel Ricciardo, and Massa, Bottas, and a Red Bull, Grosjean, and Fernando Alonso, Kvyat.
So here's the strategy then. It is wet for the start of this race, but as you can see at the top of the screen, it is going to dry up fairly quickly. So that strategy of intermediates is out of the window. And here we go. And it is time for the formation lap, of course. No 5 red lights, just yet. So here we've got the formation lap. The first ever time I've done the formation lap. And to be honest, it's not ideal. It's raining. But the first time I've ever raced in the wet on F1 2016. And honestly, it was quite nervy, you know, as we now coming to the end of the formation lap. We've left a massive gap to Grosjean and the cars behind. So that's something I have to think about for the next formation lap in Bahrain. But here we are on the grid in Australia. And honestly, I was really kind of nervous. The anticipation was pumping. We've got 3 red lights, 4 red lights, 5 red lights. And we've dumped the clutch in a way. We go a little bit slow with our reaction time, and the cars ahead of us get the jump on us. But the second phase of the start has been absolutely fantastic for us, and we're going to try and dive at the inside. Raikkonen's left the door open slightly, and we're going to move up into 4th. And now Hamilton and Vettel are going slowly through turn 2, and we're going to try and get the run on both of them. And now we've ended up being boxed in between the 2 of them. We're going to brake late, and we've hit the back of Hamilton. He's run wide. We're going to try and go, and we've made contact with Vettel. We're in a Mercedes-Ferrari sandwich. And there's wheel banging. We hit the side of Vettel again. And we come out worse for wear out of all of that. But we're going to go back up the inside of Sebastian Vettel. And we're going to take 3rd place in the Grand Prix. We've gained 4 places off the start. It's been a fantastic start. Or a fantastic first couple of corners for us. Somehow we didn't lose any bits of our car with contact between Vettel and Hamilton, who just seems to be playing dodgems with us at the moment. But as we come through the middle sector, we're having to defend now from Sebastian Vettel in that Ferrari. As we saw in qualifying and in practice, we do not really have the pace here this weekend. And we've made a mistake through the high-speed chicane. But Vettel isn't too close to us. But yes, as I was saying, that the pace in the car this weekend just hasn't really been there. So at the moment, it's going to be park the bus time. But we've made a mistake into the 3rd sector, just a couple of corners from the end of the lap, and Sebastian Vettel has got past us, struggling to find our feet early on in these wet intermediate conditions. But we're still pretty close to Sebastian Vettel, and hopefully we'll be able to get close enough. He's not really pulling away at the moment because he kind of overtook in a bit of an unorthodox place. And we're now in the slipstream as we come around to complete lap 1. We're in the slipstream of Sebastian Vettel. We pull to the right hand side and we go up the inside into turn 1, and we take back our podium place for now. And we are back up into P3 in this race. Vettel ran wide through turn 1, has held everyone up, and it's given us a couple of second buffer. Here's a replay of the start then. And it was a great start for the race leader, Nico Rosberg. He absolutely bolted. As you can see on the run down into turn 1, there was a fast starting Ferrari. They're having a look at Lewis Hamilton, and the door's open for us. We go up the inside, and in fact we've hampered our teammate out, I think there, But as you can see, this is what happened on the run down into turn 3. We were on the left-hand side, being squeezed by Vettel, and we got boxed in behind Hamilton, and we ended up pushing him wide. And we just got Vettel understeered into us, and Hamilton was trying to take his racing line, and we're just getting kind of beaten like an egg by Hamilton and Vettel. We're trying to mix it in with the with a couple of 7-time world championships between them as we get past Vettel there. This is our teammate start. Daniel Ricciardo starting in a mighty 4th place. We might have been alongside him had we have had if we had run out of fuel in qualifying. As you can see, he's on the outside into turn 1, and as we go through turn 1, he gets hit by Raikkonen, and that was Raikkonen reacting to us going up his inside. So we've really hampered our teammate here, and we've dropped him down into about 12th place. This is the start from Lewis Hamilton's point of view. It was kind of, Rosberg definitely got the better start out of the pair of them, and the second phase, just look at Rosberg pull away. And as we go into turn 1, Hamilton had a Ferrari on his outside. That's Vettel, and he gets quite tentative in the middle of turn 2, and that holds Vettel up, and that's why we had such a launch through turn 2. We had the momentum, and we ended up we went the wrong side of Sebastian Vettel and just got boxed in, and it just meant that we had nowhere to go. At every point in the next sequence of corners, we're stuck between 2 cars, or stuck behind a car, and we're just being beaten about by the Mercedes and the Ferrari. But now Hamilton's driven off into the distance as we get past Sebastian Vettel. Here's Vettel's point of view from the start, and it was a decent launch, not as good as his start in the real life Grand Prix, sadly for him. But as you can see, he was on the outside of Hamilton, and Hamilton just takes the racing line, gets onto the AstroTurf, and it just hampers his run through turn 2. And we get such a launch, we have to go to the outside of Vettel, and we just get, as you see, we just get boxed in. Although we should have broke a bit earlier, but it was kind of, we're trying to brake later than Vettel, but at the right time for Hamilton. And you can't fit 3 cars through this part of the track. Albert Park's a street circuit, so we have proven that you cannot go 3 wide through turns 3 and 4, and that's us getting past Sebastian Vettel. Now Kimi Raikkonen's past Sebastian Vettel on lap 5. He's trying to get past us as we run through the high-speed chicane, and I think we got close to squeezing Raikkonen into the wall there. As you can see, he gets very close, tries to go around the outside, gets onto the water, and he just loses all his pace and decides to brake and slow down in the middle of the corner. But I can tell you, it's drying out so quickly here in Albert Park. Every lap it was just getting drier, and I was talking to Jeff, the engineer, and he was saying we're getting closer, and around this point the rain actually pretty much stopped. It was just the last bits, the last few puddles that were around on the circuit, although offline was incredibly greasy. As you can see now on lap 9, we're having to defend once again from Kimi Raikkonen. We're hugging the inside line. We're trying to make him go around the outside because we know that we can defend from him through this high-speed chicane. And it was definitely our weak point in the race, but as we've run wide through that high-speed chicane. We've got Raikkonen all over the back of us. We're going to the inside. He's going to try and attack us around the outside. Will he be able to get the switchback? We've kept it inside the track limits, and we're able to defend from him for another lap. So, you know, we are holding on by the skin of our teeth at the moment. We do not have we kind of had the pace, I'd say, in the intermediate conditions. However uncomfortable and horrible it was to drive. But right now, at the end of lap 10, we are going to be the first car in the field to blink, and we are going to go on to a set of dry tyres. We're going to put on a set of the medium compound tyres. We're going to go a long way into this race. I don't know if we're going to be able to do 19 laps on those medium tyres anyway, but we'll just have to see. Sebastian Vettel behind us puts on the super soft compound tyres as well. We've managed to stay ahead of him in the pits. I didn't think we were going to actually, so yeah, that was good in the long run. And as you can see, we've come out in 5th place. That we're the first car onto the dry tyre, and as we come into turn 1, we go straight on. The car just did not slow down, and we've lost a heap of time. We actually gained on Vettel in the pit stop phases. And now we have another problem. We didn't really, they've caught up to us in the, as we're getting past now by Sebastian Vettel. We made a mistake. We've been put out onto the greasy line, and he's gone up the inside. He's going to be on the outside into the penultimate corner. We're going to just run him out wide and keep the position. But yeah, I think we blinked maybe a lap too early in the grand scheme of things. We didn't have the greatest pace on the intermediate tyres, but then to be on the medium compound tyre, the slowest tyre, and then for everyone else pretty much around us to go to the super soft tyres, apart from Felipe Massa, who has in fact jumped us along with Fernando Alonso. But we've had a better run. Of course, Alonso on his cold tyres, and we've managed to get past him and take him P4 in this race. So as it stands, me and Massa are currently 3rd and 4th on the medium compound tyre. The two Mercedes have gone to the soft compound tyre, but they're miles ahead of us, and we're not going to be seeing them for the rest of this race. Our job at the moment is to get past Felipe Massa. We've got to get past Felipe Massa, hold that podium position, and just see where we go from here. We're effectively racing Massa. We're on the same strategy, and at the moment all we need to do is hold up the guys behind us and burn out their super soft compound tyres, because we know that they're not going to last that long. In this race we've got DRS on Massa. Are we going to try a dive bomb into turn 3? We go for it, but we're just a bit too far back, and we don't need to risk it. And then we got to a point where we were quicker than Massa, but we were having to defend and attack. We're defending from Vettel and attacking from Massa, and we've had a great run through the high-speed chicane. We're on the outside though, and Massa squeezes us towards the wall, so we flick to the inside, and we run him out of road. We bang side pod to tyre, but out of frustration as we try and run him out of road for him nearly putting us in a wall, and we're back up into P3 in this race, and it's been absolutely fantastic. But now Massa has decided on lap 16 that he's got a lot more pace in the bag, and as we're starting to struggle on our tyres a little bit, he's coming back at us as there's a yellow flag that's been thrown out just in front of us, and now we've got Vettel right behind us, and we're coming up to a yellow flag zone. We've got a slow Toro Rosso up ahead of us of Daniel Kvyat, and can he in fact hold Vettel up for us? No, he doesn't. We get past him, as does Sebastian Vettel, which hasn't helped us at all, because Vettel is absolutely flying. He's a lot quicker than us at the moment, but he's been on those super soft tyres for about 7 laps or so now, and he's in fact decided to go and pit for a new set of tyres. I'm not sure what tyres he's going to put on, probably the soft compound tyre or even the medium compound tyre to get to the end of the race. And I really thought, should we cover off Vettel? I decided against it. We were on these tyres for the long haul. We've made a mistake going through there, and now Fernando Alonso in the McLaren Honda is having a go at us on lap 19. 10 laps to go in this race. Excuse me, but we do manage to get back up the inside of Fernando Alonso to maintain P3, and he's going to be pitting in the near future as Sergio Perez now has an engine failure. He is out of this race, and the Mexican not been the greatest start to his season. We then got passed by Felipe Massa at the end of our stint, which I thought I'd included in this, but obviously I've cut it out by accident. So we decided to pit at the same time on lap 23, set a super softs going onto the car to the end, and honestly guys, I got the strategy completely wrong in this race. Well, I didn't get it completely wrong. I should have covered off Vettel or Alonso when they pitted. They both rejoined ahead of us. We've rejoined in 9th place. Bearing in mind we've been 3rd for pretty much the whole race. It's taken us to lap 25 to catch up to Carlos Sainz and Felipe Massa. Sainz on the soft compound tyre. He's been on those for quite a while. We go up the inside of him. He's going to try and hang it around the outside though. We're trying to have a look at Massa, and we've had to let Sainz through. As we try and go around the outside, we clip the back of him, we've run onto the grass, and now Bottas is going around our outside as well. We managed to hang on to P9, and we've just lost a heap of time as we're trying to push as quick as we can to get as many positions as we can. A little bit like Ricciardo career mode. When we did that first race, we were on the soft compound tyres at the end, and we blitzed through the field. It's similar to this, as we go up the inside of Sainz into the chicane there, and we're now on the back of Felipe Massa on the penultimate lap. We're only in P8, we've been 3rd for the whole race. There's a couple of cars just in front of us as well. That's Ricciardo, our teammate, making his way up through the field. Bearing in mind he was 12th at one point after the start. He's managed to get in front of us through strategy as we've dive bombed Massa. We just had to do it. We've got to gain as many positions as we can as we now start the final lap. We're right behind Fernando Alonso in the McLaren, who we held behind us for so long in this race as well. All these cars have jumped us. We should have pitted when at least Alonso did. But in fact, we should have pitted when Vettel did. Vettel's in third at the moment as we now dive bomb Alonso. We've got to try and catch up to Ricciardo, who's now onto the back of Raikkonen at the end of this race. The two Red Bulls flying at the end, but we just ran out of laps as Ricciardo passes Raikkonen at the penultimate corner, and we're going to have to settle for P6 in this race. We gained one place off a couple of places off the start, and it's a solid race for us here in Australia. You know, could have been better, but we messed the strategy up.
So, another fantastic victory for the Silver Arrows. And I have to wonder, Anthony Davidson, just what set them apart from the competition here.
The difference was clearly in the strategy.
The strategy, Anthony Davidson, it was clearly in their car performance and the fact that I held everyone up for the whole race.
This really is.
I don't think it was their strategy, mate.
Good having a well-oiled machine behind the scenes without a talented hand on the wheel, of course.
And here are our podium drivers today after that excellent race. They've excelled here, as they so often do, and it's a well-deserved victory. Mercedes, then, are on top today. And now let's take a look at the drivers' standings. Nico Rosberg takes over the lead of the Drivers' Championship after that excellent result. Now then, Anthony Davidson, who was your driver of the day?
It's got to be Rio Haryanto. He was in another league for me today. Really impressive stuff.
Rio Haryanto?
And here's how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship.
Anthony Davidson's lost the plot. Rio Haryanto finished in like 17th or something stupid.
We hope to see you then.
Anyway, Nico Rosberg won the race, Hamilton was second, Vettel was third. Had we have pitted with Vettel or covered him off, could we have got a podium? Possibly. Ricciardo, our teammate, got fourth in the end, then it was Raikkonen, us, Massa, Alonso, Bottas, Sainz, and then Grosjean just missing out on points along with Nico Hülkenberg. But some solid points to start the year with. You know, we can't complain. We didn't have a good qualifying. We've moved up in the race. We had a fantastic start. So the only way is up. We've got an engine upgrade coming to Bahrain. Bahrain is a track that I love as well. I was quick in Bahrain on the F1 2015, so hopefully we can carry that pace over as well. But as you saw today, the gap to Mercedes is massive. We've got a big job to do if we're going to overhaul Mercedes in the next season or two. Even catching Ferrari and being quicker than Ferrari is going to be tough. As Anthony Davidson still talking about Rio Haryanto being his driver of the day. In the Constructors, we're third. Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, Williams, McLaren. It's pretty much in Constructors Championship order, apart from, is that Manor in about 9th, something like that. So they've had a good race today anyway. But yes, we're now back in heading back to our career hub, and that's the end pretty much of part 1, which is a bit of a shame. You know, I really enjoyed doing this. These are the resource points we gained from the race. We'll hopefully be able to upgrade our car a bit more in Bahrain. But yeah, I love doing this race, and I can't wait to bring you more career mode episodes on F1 2016. Co-op career mode will start up again pretty soon, probably after I've done this series. I want to do 2 episodes a week on this. The next episode is going to come up on Wednesday, hopefully, and then episode 3 Saturdays. And we're going to do it like that. Saturday and Wednesday is going to be career mode days, and we're going to blast through this season as we are losing the rivalry, although we did gain a bit on Ricciardo in the race with fastest laps, sectors, and what have you. But yeah, I think we've got a chance. Qualifying is where we lost out in this rivalry a little bit. So hopefully if we just find a bit more pace in qualifying, which we should do in Bahrain, we'll just have to see where we end up in that respect. But yes, guys, if you've enjoyed that, subscribe if you're new, like, share, comment. You know, I think we've just hit over 60 subscribers as well, and the channel growth has been fantastic this year. Obviously not like your Tiamat Marduk or what have you, but for the channel growth for me has been really good, and it's really worthwhile. Yeah, 60 subscribers, and it just makes this so much more worthwhile. But yeah, anyway guys, thank you very much for watching. Take care, and I will see you in the next episode. Goodbye.